Live on the Woodward Sports Network, 99.1 and 93.5 The Roar, the Woodward Sports app, and anywhere you listen to podcasts. Let's talk some sports. It's Big D Energy.
Hey, yo. Welcome back. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neal, Ruhl, D-Mac, Darren, McCarty here in the house. We got Sam Flannel. He's on brand. He's on budget. We got Spencer Raxter here in the building. To quote Ice Cube, you know how we do it. What's poppin', D-Mac?
What's poppin' is I just have to give a shout-out to Flannel Sam on his Sergey Fedorov, 91 straight days of flannel. Congratulations. That's for you, Neal. I know that's your boy.
Yeah, was Sergey Fedorov a Hall of Famer, Sam Flannel?
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt.
Okay.
He was the best player in hockey for at least 1 year. Of course he's a Hall of Famer. I love Sergey Fedorov.
Okay, just...
Well, he didn't choose violence with you this morning.
No,
That's
he
nice.
did
That's nice.
not.
All right, we'll wait and see what happens with us. No, exciting time, obviously. We were talking about it beforehand with the Red Wings. You mentioned it in our pre-tape party. It's, Steve Yzerman, it's his time to make some decisions on the roster. It's his time, the draft coming up tomorrow night. I know we got Daniella Bruce coming up next segment to talk a little bit about the hiring of Derek Lalonde and what's going on next. But we'll get into the draft tomorrow with our very own Woodward Sports Mike Gentry. And it's an exciting time. Then free agency comes. So I think the work is being put in. This is what all the guys, and the one thing, if you heard Derek Lalonde, the new coach of the Detroit Red Wings, talk, it's the fact that what is his job is to sort of be there as the buffer. One thing that he said, it's very poignant, that I got from his press conference is in Tampa, he realized that the managers manage, the coaches coach, and the players play. Right? So right now it's up to the guys that have done the scouting, the Chris Drapers for the amateur scouting, the Kirk Maltbys for the pro scouting and stuff like that. And then Stevie makes a decision. And at the end of the day, #WiserPlan, we're all happy.
And that's the way business is run, D-Mac. I mean, we come out here. I host, you analyze, Spencer does the ones and twos, show content, stuff like that. Sam Flannel does the sound poorly sometimes, but still does the sound. I mean, but that is that is the mark though of a good organization. Show me a good organization. I'll show you people that are in their lane and stay in their lane.
I think it's know your role.
Bingo.
Right, know your
that's
role
life.
and that's a big part of the history of the Detroit Red Wings' success in the past, is everybody has embraced their role. You're looking at somebody, I'm one of those guys that knew coming in of the role that if I wanted to be part of this team, and I embraced it and I loved it and played it. Well, it's the same thing in drafting. It's the same thing for Chris Draper, where I love it when this is how Steve Yzerman says, we're going to draft, and you know what? If we get a good player, I make a great draft, and something goes wrong, Chris Draper's fault. So, apropos.
That's how I live my life.
Business works, but this is what. So, I know Chris Draper as well as anyone, as far as the competitor and the human being he is. I mean, this is his time. I know that it's funny for tomorrow, the draft, but just we'll both be in our element. Right? He'll be getting ready to select the first round pick for the Detroit Red Wings, and I'll be taking the stage in Woodhaven at the Uncle Sam Jam with my band Grinder. We're both doing what we love, right, at the same time. So the one thing Chris Draper said to me, and because he doesn't tell me anything, because I told you before, he said, now that I'm media, and I said that's the nicest thing he's ever said, but he said they're going to draft a very good player and a guy that they need to move forward in this draft. So I take him on his word for it. I trust what everybody does. And when we say #WiserPlan, that's the whole organization. That's everybody involved. And most of it, there's probably 9 to 11 former players that have won cups that you know of.
Yeah, and we'll get into that too, certainly, as it goes on. As he said, Daniella Bruce will join the show from the Detroit Red Wings. I think it's a low-key busy time. People obviously talk about the Pistons with the Summer League, and the Lions are just around the corner. But it is go time for hockey, and in more ways than one, and we'll get through it. And look, we're going to talk football. We got some football stuff to get to, so everybody just keep the pit bull on the chain right now, all right? We're going to get to it. But I believe that this deserves a lot of attention because unlike some other teams, even though the season has been reclaimed, and your Detroit Tigers have destroyed the Cleveland Guardians.
Oh, yeah.
And everything is well again. Everything is back popping. Playoff push. Local media outlets are telling me that the farm system's just fine.
Chirping.
Not to worry about it. You know, they're saying, I know that there are people out there that want their, quote, pound of flesh. That was a quote that I heard last night.
We'd love to hear from you.
I'm not doing all that, Spencer Raxter. I'm not doing all that. I was told the farm system's fine. So my friend Darren McCarty got me all worked up for this last 2 months about nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. Because because the
Blow
low
it out your hole.
because the
Oh
low
my God.
the low minor guys are good. Thank you very much.
Those single A guys that'll be up here and ready to go in 5 years.
Hi,
Can't wait
congratulations. My name is Riley Green. I'm the first player drafted by the Detroit Tigers since 2014 with a positive WAR.
I think I love Riley Green. And
yes, you got one guy. But here's the whole thing. How's the shoe gonna fall? And are you kidding? When you sent me that last night, I mean, oh my God, what an awful. Okay, who? So now we got right now. Now I hear Akil Baddoo. Like Akil Baddoo is one of those guys you're hoping resurges from what last year. Now he's hitting the tar off the ball. He's got to get another opportunity, but he's still got to prove it here. He's still not proven as a pro.
Yeah.
Right? So that's the biggest deal for everything here. There's nothing there. We're talking about where are these guys?
Well, D-Mac, it's all fixed. It's all fixed.
Why?
They beat
Because
the
you
Guardians.
won 3 games in a row against the Guardians?
100%. It's all fixed, D-Mac. Just calm it down. You're grandstanding right now, Darren.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, you're grandstanding right now.
Man,
everything's fine.
I guess you know what the difference is? I know what winning is. That's not winning.
That's not winning.
And that's not talking about winning. And that's even worse. Right? I'm trying to bring in the reality of this is what you have down there. 0. Because you're looking at names of guys and you're looking at it's just frustrating that 3 games against the Guardians and then all of a sudden it's fixed.
After you lost to the Royals in a series. But I was told.
If I couldn't like Riley Green more, his walkout song is God's Country. And it was like the song of the bachelor party weekend for my boy Sibo's wedding. We were just all getting after it with the dogs running.
Okay, so it's got some special meaning to you.
Yeah, it hits my heart.
I like that, though. I do like that. Detroit City FC in action at Keyword tonight as well. John Mark says looking forward to watching Detroit City FC versus Hartford Athletic tonight. Says Nate Steinwasher's having a season like no goalkeeper in the history of the USL. Might draw some interest from the Swedish League or the MLS. And TV20 tonight. Also, if you want tickets, DebtCityFC.com. All the premium seats are sold out. We keep running this same story over and over and over again, but they're expecting a sellout by the time the match kicks off. So there is that. If you can't get in, TV20 here in Detroit, ESPN Plus. I'll be on the call as always. A little double dip here tonight for me.
At you.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
Just another day,
Just
right?
another day in the life of the pro.
Absolutely. And then this weekend, Detroit City FC in Indy to take on Indy 11. I'll be on the call for that as well. So Friday night, I'll fly out of here, and we'll go do it, man. We'll go doing it, and we absolutely are doing it. You catch Chet Holmgren's act last night in the Summer League?
Oh, my gosh. That guy, he looked so good. He shot the ball well. He set a Summer League record in blocks in his first game. It's like... It's everything we thought he was going to be and more. So,
you guys invested in the Summer League?
I like the Summer League.
Yeah, but not at midnight.
Yeah, that even with the Pistons.
No, I will, but not at midnight. You know, Pistons play at midnight tomorrow. They play at midnight, but it's 9 p.m. out there, so it's Thursday there, but Friday here. But I'm not going to watch at midnight. I'm not. I'm sorry.
All right,
Are you?
I probably won't be up at midnight.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
But it is tomorrow. I actually will, because if I'm taking the stage at 9, if it's on, I'll
You'll
watch
catch it.
It'll be interesting. We're going to also talk to our Pistons insider, Jeff Iafrate, so we know he'll be watching it.
Absolutely. So Juicy J will join the show as well today. But yeah, Summer League is getting... And it's funny, man, like, beginning of July, this July seems like no other July in the history of sports. Just in that... Like, look at everything that's in the news cycle, man. Yeah. For real. Mm-hmm. Like, it's July, and we got to find time in the show to squeeze the Lion stuff in.
Yeah.
Like, think about that, man. That's wild to me. But, here we are. We're absolutely doing it.
But that's a good thing because you know why? That just means some of the other teams are doing something. Right? You
That's
know what
true.
I'm saying? That we got to pay attention to. Meaning the Lions and the Wings in the summertime.
Yeah. So, it's...
Summertime.
No, it is. But Riley Green, though, what? 3 doubles now on the season.
Yeah.
Riley Green had 2 doubles yesterday. Jamer Candelario has 7 this year.
And one of his doubles was like 2 inches away from a home run. Like, he almost got it out.
They made a great point. I think it was Double D, Dan Dickerson on the legend. Shout out to Double D on the broadcast that the launch angle, that like the ball coming off his bat. We were talking about this, Neal, when we were talking about golfing. One of our guys here, Nick Leach, is a pro golfer, and the ball off his club
sounds
different. Same with Riley Green and then the launch angle. And you watch that second double, you're talking about that thing left the bat and went over to the left fielder's head before he even moved. So, yeah, we definitely know that he's got the it, and just hopefully we can nurture that. And the biggest thing now is, you know what it is, Neal? I'm looking at the Tigers, and I think they're lionized. You know what I mean? Don't lionize Riley Green. But it's actually tigerized. You know what I'm saying? There's this sort of like, how are they going to mess this up? And, congratulations on winning 3 in a row. But it is the Guardians. It's not reality. There's still nothing in the
Wait a
farm
minute.
system.
I was told.
I know you were told.
I was told last night.
Hey, you ever figured you were told you were lied to?
No, I was told,
Yeah, you were
D-Mac.
lied to.
I was told that certain people in this town wanted a pound of flesh, and that they just sit there and go over their same tired talking points, even though they're relevant. Even though I'm still looking for a trade that Alavila won. A trade.
I'm looking for a drafted player with positive WAR. Finally got one. 8 years later. 7 years later on the draft. Whatever.
Bring up the Alcantara army.
We got all the Alcantaras except the good one.
We need an army of Alcantaras.
I'm with Luis. I'm glad Riley Green worked out so I can get a jersey now.
Yes. I bought a Casey Mize jersey, and I mean, I still
don't buy a Riley Green one then. Yeah. Come on, now we know what it is.
Hey,
because you know I'm right.
Cody Engel says the Tigers are going to waste the prime of Green's career. And, certainly I hope that's not the case. I really, really hope that. But it's show me the wins in the trade market. Show us.
Baptized in holy water and shine with the dogs.
All right, that's enough, Spencer. That's enough. That's enough.
It's such a good song.
People are giving your boy Chet Holmgren some grief, man, on the YouTube chat thread.
I mean, I don't understand it. He just went out there and put up a great performance. Yeah, it's summer league, so it doesn't really matter. Like Henry Ellenson put up great performances in the summer league, and we know how that went. But the kid looks special. So, yeah, he looks like he's gonna break every time he hits the floor. But
rim protector, though, man.
Yes.
And that doesn't go in a slump.
Block Taco Fall.
You don't need usage to block shots.
Yeah, block Kofi Coburn. Like, those are big guys. You know, so.
And here's the thing with Chet too is like you said, he looks like he can break at any time, but he's got to develop, right? He's got to fill out a little bit, and over time, and if his body can keep up to it and match as he puts weight on, I mean, he could be really, really effective. And
here's the thing too about it with DMAC is, we're not going to spend a ton of time on this, but the other thing about that is, you're in the NBA now. You're a $25 million commodity now. They will put the pieces around you. And look, Gonzaga college basketball is big-time college basketball. Make no mistake. Every college, every big-time college, Kansas, etc. It's big-time college basketball. But it's not that.
Right.
There's not $200 million players in the league that they have to develop.
Yeah. No, that's a great he's a piece that you build around. And I think that's, as far as if you're a Chet Holmgren fan or if you're not, you got to sort of give him props for what it is. Take it for last night's game for what it is, that you did see something, that he has that talent. And, for people that said they wouldn't have drafted him at 5, come on. I mean, you saw what he can do. So he's to me, it's a development thing, and it'll be watched as he matures and who they put around him.
Yeah, absolutely. When we come back, we'll be joined by Daniella Bruce from the Detroit Red Wings. Big time right now for the Red Wings. And as you know, we're live from the Planet Fitness studios, and Planet Fitness is home of the Judgment-Free Zone, where you can work out in a non-intimidating, judgment-free atmosphere. Membership starts at just $10 a month for access to your home club. Don't forget about the Black Card. $24.99 per month, less than $1 a day. Get you used to the amenities, the unlimited tanning, the hydro massage, total body enhancement, and access to every single one of the 2,000 Planet Fitni around the world with unlimited guest privileges. Join today in club. You're going to pass a couple on the way home. Just pull into that parking lot, sign up there, jump on the computer, planetfitness.com. You can do it there as well. It's Planet Fitness, Darren McCarty.
Where your fitness is essential.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Hey, Scott from the Woodward Bet Show. Hey, that is another winner I gave you yesterday with the Miami Marlins and Sandy and Sally, whoever else he is. But listen, hey, you guys got to get over there to that app store and download oddstrader.com. It's got live scoring, play-by-play updates, and it's the best place to check all the odds at all the sports books right in the palm of your hand. Hey, let's get back to them winners. We need more fun coupons. Of course, fun coupons equals fun. So listen, we're going to roll today with the Arizona Diamondbacks to beat the San Francisco Giants. Giants are just 2-10 in their last 12 games. Merrill Kelly, Arizona's best pitcher. Sounds good to me. Oddstrader.com. Woodward Bets. Check it out.
Darren McCarty here for Alta. At Alta, uptime matters. Alta Equipment has everything you need to get the job done. Have a bog project coming up? Alta Rent has you covered. Call them today, 844-GO-TO-ALTA. That's 844-GO-TO-ALTA. Tell them Big D Energy sent you.
Back at it, off and running, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neal Ruhl, D-Mac, Darren McCarty, Sam Flannel, Spencer Raxter as well. But the NHL draft is coming up tomorrow. There are some big moves afoot for the Detroit Red Wings. A lot of decisions for Steve Yzerman to make. So we go to our very, very good friend, digital reporter, producer for the Detroit Red Wings and the Detroit Tigers. She's also worked sidelines for some play-by-play guy named Neal Ruhl before as well. Daniella Bruce here in the house. Follow her on Twitter at Daniella Bruce _. And Daniella, look, the NHL draft coming up. The discussions, too, for Steve Yzerman, certainly talking as well. You got the Dylan Larkin stuff in the background, the Tyler Bertuzzi stuff as well. It's popping for a July, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And, of course, I went on one vacation for the 4th of July, right? The one day I had off. The Red Wings hire a new coach. So that's exactly how it's going so far this summer. Very busy and a lot more that's going to happen, but very excited for the draft tomorrow. As Chris Draper told you, Darren, they're going to get a really good player with that 8th overall pick.
Absolutely. Well, let's start there with the new coach, Derek Lalonde, former assistant coach, two-time Stanley Cup champion, and obviously Stanley Cup finalist this year. What did you think of the hire? And, from listening to his press conference about how defense is a priority, how that Tampa Bay team was built, what do you expect? What kind of coach? And the question that I was asked, what makes him different from a player's coach than from Jeff Blashill? So I'll ask you the same question. What does Derek Lalonde bring to this team?
Well, the immediate response that I give you guys, the first thing I noticed was that he said he's going to spend his first few days calling all of the players and making sure that he can build a relationship with them. And I'm not saying that Jeff Blashill had a bad relationship with any of the guys in the locker room. I'm not going there at all, but it feels like Derek Lalonde is putting that at the forefront. That is the number one thing that he wants to do. And he talked a lot about the Red Wings being a tough team to play against as well, which I thought was an interesting conversation to start. He not only has coached for a two-time Stanley Cup champion, and they made it to the final this year, obviously, but he knows how to coach against the Red Wings. He saw them quite a few times. And if you go back to the COVID realignment year, they played each other 8 times. So he definitely knows some of the ins and outs of this team. Granted, the roster might look a little different by the time the season starts. But I think the fact that he's putting the relationships that he needs to build with the players, especially Dylan Larkin, and he mentioned his relationship with Steve Yzerman, that there has to be a good GM-coach relationship to create a successful team. I like that those are his first steps, right? So I think that's a great start for him, and I think he seemed very personable, right? I haven't met him yet. I'm looking forward to actually getting to know him. Hopefully next week at development camp I'll get to do that. But I'm very excited for what he's going to bring to the team. He knows how to win. He's done it.
Daniella Bruce joining us here, digital reporter, producer for the Detroit Red Wings and the Tigers. Oh yeah, also can be a radio analyst too for the NHL. Has that in the toolbox as well.
She does it all.
It does it all. There is no doubt about that. But Danielle, I got a question for you, and I don't know. And look, Steve Yzerman doesn't say a lot like that. He just, real G's move in silence like lasagna, right? Like that's the line. But with all that being said, yeah. It was Lil Wayne. It wasn't me.
Yeah, dropping bars all over.
Yeah. But with all that being said, though, Daniela, do you get the sense? And I'll just ask you personally. Do you get the sense that Steve Yzerman just has a playbook, man, that works, that he crafted in Tampa, and he comes to Detroit and changes the binder so it's red instead of blue, and then just opens a playbook and runs the plays? It's almost like it's scripted, because there does seem to be almost a robotic way that he's going about doing this job.
I don't know if it will be, if he would tell you, well, obviously he probably wouldn't tell you anything like you said, but I don't know if it's exactly the same formula that he used in Tampa. Obviously he's got a different team on his hands in the place that they're in, but yeah, he knows what he's doing. He saw what he did in Tampa. It took time. It took about 10 years, which is what people tend to forget, but it worked. So why not try to repeat that same success here in Detroit? Like I said, moves are going to have to be different. Things are going to have to be a little bit different, right? But I think he's going to use that same formula. Yeah, I don't see why he wouldn't. It hasn't failed him yet, right?
You know what, Danielle, talking about the draft, and we mentioned about Chris Draper saying they get a good player. Obviously, the imperativeness is talking about at the beginning of this draft up higher are the centermen and stuff like this. Are there some names that are being thrown around? What I relate back to and want all Red Wings fans to know, because I just heard this, but back when Mo Seider was selected, Steve Yzerman's first draft, and everybody went, whoa, who's this? And Elliot Friedman, who's Hockey Night in Canada, right? And he asked Steve, he says, oh, wow, everybody's wondering, you draft him, and Steve just looks at him and says, that's where we had him ranked. Next question, right? Which means is that who they have ranked. That's, I guess, trying to get for all Red Wings fans is the competency that the GM and this organization has. I mentioned it earlier. What I like to hear from the coach is that what he learned in Tampa is that managers manage, coaches coach, and players play. Are there some names that we should maybe, that you're looking forward to? Obviously, there's a lot of holes to fill, right? A lot of holes to fill. But do you have names that might end up chosen by Chris Draper and Steve Yzerman tomorrow?
Hey, if my mock draft, if you got the chance to see it, I just posted it on Twitter yesterday, so take a look if you haven't, but I'm going to give it away, I guess, so maybe don't look at it if you don't want to. But Jonathan Lekkerimäki is who I have going to the Red Wings at 8 overall, and I took a lot of heat for this because he's not a center. A lot of Red Wings fans really want the Red Wings to draft a center. They don't think they have that number 2 center, the second line center. And I see that, but out of the centers that are going to be available when the Red Wings draft, I don't think Logan Cooley will be there. I don't think Shane Wright will be there because he's projected to go 1 or 2. And then Cutter Gauthier, I also have off the board earlier than 8. So when you look at the centers left, you've got Frank Nazar and you've got Matt Savoy, who are very talented, but they're small. And I'm not sure, I don't want to say size is the only factor that's going to keep them from getting drafted. The Red Wings very well might draft those guys, but they're small. They're 5'9" and 5'10", I believe. So we'll see what happens there. But Marco Kasper was the center that I had targeted. I had to pick between Lekkerimäki and Marco Kasper in my draft. And it was a hard decision, but I think Lekkerimäki is the best goal scorer. He's a two-way player, which is huge. Steve Yzerman is always looking for those defensive forwards, and team defense needs to improve. We heard Lalone say that in his press conference. So I would watch out for him on the wing. But then again, like I said, Marco Kasper is a bigger guy at center. I believe he's 6'1", so that could fit their build as well. I'm telling you guys what I think here. I know nothing. I have no idea who they're going to take, and my reaction was the same as everybody else in 2019 when Mo Seider was drafted. I said, who is that? He wasn't even on anybody's radar, really. So I can tell you this. When Steve Yzerman or Chris Draper says a name on Thursday, I'm going to be ecstatic because we've seen it happen a couple of times where we're like, oh, is that the right pick? And they've turned out pretty great so far.
And Danielle, I think it goes back to where we do this, right? Like we're so hungry, we're so thirsty for a winner here in Detroit, where everybody wants it to be the pick to be specialized already. And D-Mac said this was the biggest. I asked Darren, I said, what was the biggest takeaway from the Red Wings season, keeping in mind, kind of the pseudo defensive meltdown they had starting in about January? And he said, I think the biggest disappointment was we thought we had 3 defensemen. We had maybe 1.5. And that's where I think, Danielle, the whole board still opens up. I know everybody wants it targeted, and the people will die on the hill that want a center, they'll die on the center hill. The people that want a defenseman will die on that hill. You are still at the stage of the game for the Red Wings where there is an angle of best player available, and if there's a talent out there that can light the lamp, and I know that kind of goes against what Lalone was talking about, defensive first and everything like that. This is different than the NFL. This is different than the NBA even, where Mo Sider just won Rookie of the Year, and he was Steve Yzerman's first pick 3 years ago. Like that's the way that this stuff works. This is different. We get caught up, I think, sometimes in these drafts. Don't you agree?
Oh, 100%. And I mean, it's natural, right? We're fans, and it's what we do. We like to speculate. We like to try and figure out what everybody's thinking. But like you said, the NHL draft is extremely unpredictable. People don't even know if there's a consensus number 1 anymore with Shane Wright and Juraj Slafkovsky. They could be interchangeable at this point, and that could really shake things up. Do the Red Wings really like one of the top centers to the point where they want to trade up and get him? We don't know. There's a lot of different things that could happen there. And people talking about Tyler Bertuzzi being traded. Is he a piece that they could throw in to move up and pick at 2 or 3 overall? We just don't know exactly what's going to happen there. But yes, of course, we're hungry for the draft pick to be in there. And I would say team defense, if the guys if there is a defenseman there that's really, really talented, I think they're going to go with it. But they have drafted some really talented defensemen in the last few years. Simon Edmondson is almost a lock to make this team. Everybody's really excited about him next year. And then Albert Johansson, keep your eye on him too. He's coming over as well. And if he doesn't crack the Red Wings roster, he's going to be in Grand Rapids. So that's going to be some really exciting stuff on the defensive side for the Red Wings. Neal, I will say I think it's going to be a forward. I think it's going to be a forward unless one of the top 2 defenseman talents fall. But again, we'll know when we know tomorrow.
That's a great point, D, because this is what I remember last year wasn't Alex Nedeljkovic acquired at the trade or at the draft day and stuff like this. And Neal's a huge draft capital, salary cap guy.
Flexibility. I'm more of that.
Flexibility, and no one has more flexibility than Steve Yzerman as far as the conversations. My question is simple. Do you expect either a trade being made out of this, or do you expect, other than just drafting, that Steve Yzerman is going to be very active on this draft day?
I think there's going to be some kind of movement. I really do. They have a lot of draft picks again. They have a couple of second rounders, a couple of third rounders. So like you said, that's capital right there. Are they going to move up in the first round? Again, that's something I don't really know. If they truly want that first to second line center talent, I would think they'd have to move up, or at least try to make the phone call and see what it would take for them to move up, which Steve Yzerman, I'm sure, is exhausting all options just to make sure he knows every single scenario. But I think there will be some movement. I know he said all of those decisions are made on the floor at the draft on Thursday or Friday, whichever day they're making the trade. But I would expect him to use the picks for some kind of capital, especially there's a chance he takes another goaltender. Is that somebody he's going to want to look at higher in the draft? And there's a lot that could happen, but I do expect some movement, especially with all the picks that they do have.
All right, well, Danielle, I appreciate you sliding through the show as always. Big time fan of your work. You're a friend of the show, so certainly we'll reach back. We'll get some reaction and all that stuff, and certainly as the season comes along, we'll get you back on.
Thanks, Steve.
Love it. Always great to join you guys. See ya.
All right,
later.
Daniella Bruce, everybody, from the Detroit Red Wings, digital reporter and producer. Oh, yeah, color analyst for the radio broadcast, if need be, too. I'm really happy. And again, on a personal note, Danielle and I have worked together for a while. She's been a sideline reporter for our broadcast on television for Oakland. You get you become very happy for people
Absolutely.
that catch those breaks, that deserve it. And her and I have had many discussion about careers and everything, and very, very happy for her
Here's
success.
the one thing about Daniella Bruce, and it's always asked the questions, what do you mean by that? That's somebody that is one of the hardest workers down at LCA and doing what job, and takes a ton of pride in it. And it's awesome to be able to have seen over the past 5-6 years, just she's somebody that I go to and ask questions because she sees the game differently than I do, but the knowledge and what she looks for, it's something where you nailed it, Neal. You wish people success. And you're happy
absolutely.
when she got to broadcast when Ken Cal when Paul Woods couldn't do it or whatever. Like, that was awesome.
It was incredibly awesome, and a big fan of Daniella, and she's a very good friend certainly as well. I'm also a big fan of the mulligan made with Gypsy vodka. How's that for a transition, everybody? But I love the things that I love, okay? And the official drink of summer is one of them, because that is the mulligan made with Gypsy vodka. Whether you're out there on the golf course, as if you've seen social media, we have been out there on the golf course with the mulligans in tow. All over the place, Red Run, etc., etc. The mulligan is calling your name, whether you're on the golf course or hanging out in the backyard. Ask for the mulligan at your local golf course, or go to a Total Wine near you. Remember, these things are 8%, everybody. Okay, so let's take that into account for the Spencer Racksters of the world. Like, I know you're a hero, Spence, but 8%'s 8%, and it's a math game.
That's fair.
That's fair. Okay, I like it. See? Be like my guy, Spencer Rackster. As always with Gypsy Vodka, drink responsibly.
Life is full of hard choices. We're here to make one of life's biggest decisions as simple as possible. My name is Christina Gennari, and for over 20 years, I've helped hundreds of families buy and sell homes. We cover all of Metro Detroit and more, from large luxury homes to starter homes. We will work hard to make sure that you get the home of your dreams. So if you're in the market today or even thinking about buying or selling in the future, make the obvious choice. Christina Gennari, the obvious choice in real estate. Visit us at soldchristina.com today.
Ciabattas, summer salads, and dip shakes. All at Big Boy. Try a chicken club, chicken cordon bleu, or sunrise ham and cheddar. All on our grilled ciabatta bread. Or keep it light with our Michigan apple, chicken Caesar, or Greek salad. And don't forget to cool off with a frosty hand-dipped cookies and cream or strawberry shake. You heard it here first. Summer just got better.
What's going on, everybody? It's Spencer for the Fulling Warehouse in Hamtramck. You know it, you've heard of it. It's the home of the original football bowling pin game called Fulling. Multiple different ways you can play. They've got $12 open unlimited play. You can stay there open until close. Have a great time. They also have private lane reservation, $120, 10 to 12 people. You get your own lane. You can bring in your own food. And if you get thirsty, they've got a $2 mystery beer vending machine. You pop in $2, pops out a good beer, no hassle, no fuss needed. Know what you want to make a decision. They have multiple fully loaded bars for you to choose from. So come on down and check them out in Hamtramck at the Fulling Warehouse, or visit them online at fullingwarehouse.com. Again, that is fullingwarehouse.com.
Off and running, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neal, Ruhl, D-Mac, Darren, McCarty, Spencer Rackster, Sam Flannel as well. And our YouTube chat thread, AC says, Neal, can we get a Drake album review? With the holiday weekend, I did get a chance to do a deep dive in it. That actually, AC, you'll laugh at this, that actually is on the agenda for the workout tomorrow and Friday.
It is not good.
That we always say, and look, I'll raise my hand. All right, well, let's take a couple minutes on this. I'll raise my hand because, D-Mac, you remember these shows. When Kanye and Drake released their album before, we talked about it at length. And I got some heat because I kind of killed both of them.
Yeah.
And now one of my go-to bangers is Knife Talk.
Yeah, but this is different. This is a different Drake album. It's like house music, like boat music.
Really?
Yeah, you play in the background. His only snap, Jimmy Cooks. That song is fire with him and 21 Savage. But the rest of it is like, with just singing in it and just electric music in the background.
Really?
Yeah, not my favorite.
Interesting. So, AC, I will get on that. I'll report back to everybody on Tuesday. When I come back on Tuesday, I'll have a full report of Drake's new album for you. So there's that. And D-Mac, Grinder's in action too. On the other side of the
they
scale,
got no new albums yet, but I'll let you know when it's time to review.
We'll give the review of D-Mac as well. Murph says Knife Talk is a banger. Oh, 100% it is. That song slams, man. It does. We got to talk some Detroit Lions, right? It's July. You're getting that feeling. Training camp is coming up soon, and it's in the air. I know that's humidity and rain, but it's also football is in the air. Believe it or not. And this was an interesting story because the Detroit Lions have the most expensive offense in the NFL next year. And Spencer asked a question, what can we expect from them? And, the question, the thing for me is this, D-Mac. This is what I think indirectly we've all wanted as Lions fans. If you're watching on the YouTube channel right now, the Lions, $123 million on offense. The Dallas Cowboys are second at $122 alongside the Washington football team Commanders. And, when you look at it, though, D-Mac, I don't have a problem with it because 3 of the top 7 paid guys on the Lions are offensive linemen. And we've got no concerns about it. You guys know me. This is a Detroit Lions offensive line slander-free zone, much in the same way of Sergei Fedorov, much in the same way of Miguel Cabrera. I've got no issue with it whatsoever.
How can you? Obviously getting the respect league-wide as being one of the top units, and they're paid as one of the top units, so now they got to go out and block. We saw what they were able to do without Frank Ragnow last year as a unit, so that should mean that they are going to be better. When you bring this up, right, because I start thinking, look at the guys, your weapons, your Amon-Ra St. Browns, right, your DeAndre Swifts, right, your Hawkinsons right now, your Williams and stuff like this, all rookie contracts. Now, I know you're going to have to pay Hawkinson. I know guys are coming up and stuff like this. But for what it is, it still gives these guys that don't make the big money on that offense that they got to go out and produce. And you're paying them less. So I don't mind it either because that shows you that you're showing some investment aside on what side of the ball. Now, we can all agree that the offense should not be an issue, right? With what we saw from not even their top offensive blocking like last year, with Vaitai filling in, you had Sewell playing the right side, all this. My big thing is wait till Frank Ragnow gets back there. But whoever runs the ball, they've been effective. So putting points on the board, that's something that we want. So if we have to score points because it looks like we were talking yesterday, who would you take if you could fix this team? Nobody went to an offensive guy around the league. They all went to a defensive guy that they take off. So we're very aware of how our team's made up, and I think that's maybe a little different in the past because they know who they are. They've shown us who we know who they are. In the past, it was like, we know what you are, and you showing these bells and whistles that, no, that's not what we are. It's a dressed-up pig over here. We're this team and then that, and we're going to be this defensive guru, and you can't even rush the quarterback. You're going to be a defensive guru, and you don't even so now I think we know as a fan base what's in store and what Dan Campbell, what Ben Johnson, and even Aaron Glenn on the defense knows that, okay, I can put up some more points. I got a little bit more leeway. We can let up 21, 24 points and still have the ability to win the game. I think that's what it says. But now, since you have the money up there, there's expectations, right? And a 3-win team
ain't meeting expectations.
Right. No. Absolutely. Yeah. Especially with the top offensive line. So now we got to get it to 7. We got to get it to 8. We got to get it to that buff. And as we let the max clock run out, we are going to see this. But should mean points next year, right? That should equate to more points.
No, and it should. And I think what's really cool about this, from my perspective, is it's not a high-paid offense because you have a $25 million receiver and you have a $50 million quarterback. It's the exact opposite of that. And I just keep going back to it. And it's exactly what D-Mac just said. And I know this isn't good talk media or good talk radio because we're in agreement here. But it is because it doesn't matter who the running back is. Now, it does to Sam Flannel because let I remind you that Sam Flannel is calling for DeAndre Swift to lead the NFC in rushing yards this year. Right?
And a lot of that has to do with the fact that there are no worries whatsoever about their offensive linemen. And to be honest, we got to give the Detroit front office some flowers for how they have drafted 4 potential Pro Bowl offensive linemen in a short period of time. And that's one of the reasons why I think DeAndre Swift, I think he's going to be the feature back. I hope he can stay healthy. And that is why I believe he can have a breakout year and ultimately lead the NFC in rushing.
AC on our YouTube chat thread, Goff will throw for 5,500 yards. Remember that? Remember that discussion?
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. D. Smitty says no excuses for Goff this year.
Facts. He has no excuses. He's got the offensive line, like you said. They made these guys come off the bench in the running back room and rush for 100 yards. We went 5 years without a 100-yard rusher, and we had 3 last year, and nobody heard of 2 of them. So you can bring in guys like that. You bring in offensive weapons, legit offensive weapons for him, like a DJ Chark, a Pro Bowl wide receiver, like a Jameson Williams, a guy who everybody thought was the best receiver in the draft. You get, Amon-Ra St. Brown in his second year with the comfortability that he has with Jared Goff now in a complete offense. You have TJ Hawkinson on a contract year where he's going to want to go out there and ball so he can get the bag. And, it's literally on Jared Goff. So if he doesn't produce, like I said, I think I said it earlier in the year, I expect around 38 to 4,000 yards with 25 touchdowns, 12 picks, 28 touchdowns, 12 picks, something like that. That would be a good year for me. If I saw Jared Goff do that, that would be good. I could see them winning 9+ games, 9 games if he has that kind of performance. So now I don't think that I got him at 7, but it's all on Jared Goff.
I'm trying to put the pieces together, right? Because we talk about this football team, and this is going to be the perplexing conversation, and we're going to have it until games start, D-Mac. And it's going to be a very similar iteration of the same conversation every single time. Because this offensive line, top 5 in the league.
Right.
Top 5, I booked that.
And even viewed by so do I.
Top 10,
and the NFL
top 10,
analysts.
you can't say they're not.
Right, but the view from the rest of the league says they're a top 5.
They're a top 5 offensive line. Okay, so that's the way it is, and your receiver room got a lot better. It comes down to a couple of things for me, and I know how this is going to be received, and I don't care. It comes down to 2 things for me: the play of T.J. Hawkinson and the play of Aiden Hutchinson. And I know that's a lot to put on a rookie. I know it is. But I was told by Sam Flannel, he's a Rookie of the Year, 12+ sack guy.
And I think that's what he will do this year. And I think Aiden Hutchinson, I don't think that that's too much to ask of him, because I already see him as their best defensive player coming in as a rookie.
But see here, Sam, let me just cut you off right there, Sam Flannel. So we got a top 5 offensive line. There's a Rookie of the Year defensive end. You know what I'm saying? Do you have a $15 million a year tight end? $20 million? Some people said yes, right? Remember we put it to the vote? The room was split. Then this has to be a 10+ win team. You know what I'm saying? But you have DeAndre Swift, who's going to lead the conference in rushing. Sam Flannel, that's a 10-11 win team, man.
If all of this comes to fruition, that's a playoff team.
100%.
So there you go. You have the pieces in place. Now it's about execution, right? And you still got to work on that defense because your secondary is garbage. And if it is true what Sam... See, it's close enough that your number 2 overall pick is your best player on defense, right? So that tells you where your defense is at. Okay? So, all these things come to fruition if it's executed, but that's what you want. Isn't that what you want going into the season? The opportunity for this to happen? This isn't the conversation like you're having with the Tigers that, hey, Jamer Candelario is bad cleanup. You're going, if Hawkinson's supposed to be that guy and Hutchinson's supposed to be that guy because you were told, then this team legitimately, right, with the money on the offense and they're that good, that should mean wins. It should equate to wins. Now, what doesn't equate to wins? If the offensive line and Jared Goff doesn't perform up to their abilities, if Aiden Hutchinson is a 4-sack guy and looks more like in Georgia than he did Ohio State, teams like that. A lot of times you got to remember, right? Because it's all about adjustments. So it's who can help adjust better with your talent. So to me, it's the team concept. And that's what I'd like to hear, Neal, because as I sit back and listen, what we're talking about is more than we have probably maybe like 8 years ago, is that team concept. Like, we have a team. Now they got to go out and execute, and we could be a 3-1 team if things go the way that they did. But you're showing me that you're saying there's a chance. And we'll have these conversations because I like the chance.
And that's, yeah.
I like what I'm hearing.
Yeah, and it's a lot to put together. Tony D on our YouTube chat there, it says, no excuses for anyone. I want to talk about that for a second, but after I tell you about the Sports Marketing Agency, because they help spread awareness about mental health and substance abuse disorder. Their podcast is called This is the F Word. It's a series on fentanyl, the awareness of fentanyl, and let's be real, the other addictions that are plaguing our communities. If you're struggling, if you know somebody else who's struggling, thesportsma.com. Again, that's thesportsma.com, Sports Marketing Agency. They're here to help.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Hello? Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
Detroit's downtown summer playground is back. Open all summer long, the Monroe Street Midway. Enjoy roller skating, free Wi-Fi, food trucks, art installations, and so much more. Don't forget to take advantage of the basketball court, putt-putt, and, of course, family programming all summer long. All art installations are done by Detroit artists, and it's a fun, safe event from people 1 to 100. Go to deckedoutdetroit.com.
Neal Ruhl here for oddstrader.com, the #1 site for all of your game day betting activity. Play-by-play updates, live scores, and the most important feature of all this, I think, the best price on every game from multiple sports books. You can kind of navigate and see which book has the best price, and obviously that's the one you place your bet with. How hard is this to figure out? oddstrader.com lays it all out there for you. Let's not make this harder than it has to be, guys, all right? Go to oddstrader.com right now to find your best bet. Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neal Ruhl, D-Mac, Sam Flannel, Spencer Raxter as well. But I feel this Lions discussion warming up, and I figured this was going to happen. But there are parts of this to every summer, right? Especially when you have that first Lions discussion of July or whatever it is. I feel like you get parts of this all the time. But when you start putting this together piece by piece, as my good colleague Darren McCarty said, it is different to have the expectations. It's just, I wonder, for all this hopium we got flowing right now, there's a lot. If this all comes to fruition like everybody thinks it is, this is a playoff football team.
It's a good team.
I'm not calling for it.
No,
but that's what it is.
And what do they say? If you're reading the tea leaves, they're building, they're setting it up to the fact that they have some talent there. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about talent, and the thing is, especially when it came out, I think it was Pro Football Focus or whatever that said the Lions' offensive line getting in respect. Right, like that's what I'm seeing slowly but surely that I didn't see before, for years. Is slowly but surely, people are recognizing. Oh, they're starting to put something together there. Now they're still waiting to see, like we are as fans, for the other shoe to drop. But it is different, Neal. The more we talk about it, because the personnel is different. And you know what? Again, you got to go to the top to what Sam Flannel said. Is that you got to throw some flowers Because the Lions, yes, I know that we're frustrated and they're operating like a professional sports team should.
It's really wild. And it's hard to deal with, T-Mac. It is. It's scary.
It is, but so let's enjoy that. And I think that that's what we're trying to do, and we're trying to break it down. But if you look at the talent at the positions, the way that other teams are talking about it, the way other players are talking about it, what you're saying is there is a chance, Neal. And this ain't like the 1,000,000-to-1. This ain't throwing it up. This is if they can get it together right now. Do you not expect that this is a team that's gonna sort of hang on if we can keep the other team to field goals, then touchdowns? We're gonna have to outscore them, right? It's more of that. Green Bay mentality, that more of that Tom Brady mentality is that if we can have the ball last, we can win the game. We want to stay in the game. We haven't been there before. So, right where we're at the beginning of July, I think there's definitely hopium, but it's a different kind, right? To be realistic, it's just like it's a different air that I'm breathing right now, and I'm skeptical of it. A little bit, how can I not be? But it's also, too, if this was Hansel and Gretel, the path that Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell have laid out, I'm still following it. They got me. And if it leads, to where I end up, at the gingerbread house, boiled in the cauldron, well, shame on me. I've been living it my whole life. I just think it's going to end a little bit differently. And it doesn't mean I still got a year on the clock, right? So one thing, here's the one thing.
That's what's wild.
After this season, we will know.
We ride.
But after this season, we will know, because you're going to have you'll know on Hawkinson, you'll know on Alcuda, on these fringe guys that can put you over the top or whatever. So it really is an exciting time to be a Lions fan, just like it's an exciting time to be a Pistons fan and a Red Wing fan, because it's about the build. And it's going on the chase. And hopefully this year, Neal, the Lions get out of the harbor, out to open water, just like Steve Eisman and the Red Wings have.
Yeah, and that's where it is, too. And then you also have to take a look ahead to where it's set up. There are a ton of similarities. You look at the Lions in 2024, obviously after, as they go into the 2024 season, with $91 million in cap space. That's with your quarterback signed. So as we talk about, and I might be, and look, we preach this, right? The 34-game clock, the 2-year clock. We hatched that before the season started last year, and we rolled through it. And I stayed the course the entire time. And people were getting fired up after the draft, and Hutchinson and I said, everybody, hold on. We still got 17 more games to go. And then from there, you're 17 games away from $90+ million in cap space. I'm starting to feel that a little bit as we sit here right now that I didn't feel in the past. And that cap number in 2 years is the one, that's altering the britches a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying, though?
But it's the same thing, because it's slowly but surely getting on the same wavelength as with what Steve Eisman and the Detroit Red Wings have. Pants are getting a little tight over there, Neal.
The britches are,
Yeah, exactly. Might need a 36. These 34s are swelling up a little bit and blood flowing down. It's a little warm. It's a little warm. But listen, that cap space, draft capital can do that to some guys. Come on, Spence. Just wait till you get to be that age.
That was one that when look, I've talked about this before in this line of work, and certainly when you do this on television, doing play-by-play for games and stuff like that, you have a producer that's in your ear that's telling you where the next angle's coming from, the next replay, the next crowd shot you're doing, the next commercial break, the next read. So you get comfortable in this space, and your mind creates something and then sends it down to your mouth to be spoken. And once your mind creates it, it's left the ecosystem. Yeah. There's about a 2-second delay. And then it's just, it's a factory that's just going like this till the game's over.
I'm going to bail you out right here. does it really matter that our producer is one half of the heavyweight heads here 5 to 7 at night? Watch that shenanigans show. So you had no chance when Giggles McGiggler is over there.
No, but it's actually good because when it was concocted up here and it got sent down for processing, I said that could be pretty funny. That's got a good chance of being funny. And then when Spencer popped on it, I knew we had a banger. I knew we had a banger.
Yeah.
And it is like it's refreshing when you undersell it to yourself, but then it over delivers. If that makes any sense.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, that's what it was. Pat White says that's called a chubby. I don't know. I didn't want to. I didn't want to say that.
The kids these days call it bricked up. Bricked up.
Scant Williams altering the britches. So there you have it. Yeah. JGB says Riley Patterson is our kicker. Well, man, you got to remember, Rome wasn't built in a day, brother. Okay, like it's that's why there's 17 more games on D-Max.
He did well last year.
AC says, "Wow, that's too much information, Neal." I mean, I don't know. I thought that it was all right. I don't know. I thought it was, but no, it is, and I find myself getting caught up. Not so much for this year, like just in terms of a 10-win season, but everyone is 10. Let YouTube chat pull it. Is 10 wins a fair expectation?
No. Not coming off of 3.
But that's what I keep seeing here.
But let's wait and see. Like the
I want
clock
the pulse
still
of the
has to go
people.
on.
Yeah.
You can't be. No, you can't throw out expectations or whatever like that till the clock runs out. Right? This year it can be between 3 and 10. Like I think as the season builds on, if they get off to a good start and we see that this is coming into fruition, that the offensive line is playing to that capability, the offense is producing. Right? We're getting a little bit. We're getting to see Aiden Hutchinson, show why he's second overall. Then we can change the expectations. But right now, we don't want to let ourselves down, to say that we're a 10-win team, like on paper. Yeah, but that's we're not there yet. We don't deserve to be there to give ourselves a double digit. If you say to double your wins to 6 or 7, I think that's a reasonable expectation. Now, if we get off to a 6-2 start, you better believe I'll be yelling for 10. But I just want people we got a long time. Let's just not, we got to apply the 50 sunscreen right now. Okay? We don't need to lather the oil up right in the first day out. Okay? With no sense in Krispy Kreme. Let's just get the base down. Let's go to chili peppers. Let's get the, get the tan.
Let's go through the process.
Let's go through the process and enjoy the process, because the fact that we're talking about this and bringing these things up is a positive, but I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. I'll let you know when to throw it all in. It's just sort of a little bit baby step here.
Okay.
Because it's time. It's July. We can wait till training camp. We can wait till Corey's giving us live updates and we can all go nuts. That's fine.
Then we can take the hopium needle. Then
it really doesn't matter till the clock runs out. Honestly.
Okay. Then that's it. But you're talking a lot about process. What about the process of getting a good haircut?
Well, as you know, we broadcast this show live from the headquarters of Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men in Birmingham, Michigan. But there's 168 Lady Janes all throughout this great country where you can walk in, sign in, sit down. Before you know it, bing, bang, boom. King's treatment, you're looking great. Open from 10 to 8, 7 days a week. You know what to do. So get to Lady Jane's anywhere near you. Why? It's wicked awesome. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports. We'll be right back.
He's going deep, right side. Oh, that is Edwards out there. He goes up in the air at the goal line.
Hey, it's Brandon Edwards here, wanting to welcome the sports marketing agency to Woodward Sports Network, to the family. Glad to have you guys. For the last decade, the sports marketing agency has literally leveraged athletes around issues such as mental health and substance abuse.
Glad that we can finally start trying to get the stigma off of mental health that's been there for all these years.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
Pulling up on the second hour of the show, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Jose De La O says, good thing we can only see these hosts from the waist up. These hosts are Neal, Ruhl, D-Mac, Darren, McCarty. Yeah, that's right, Jose. You are fortunate in that respect. We got Sam Flannel, we got Spencer Raxter as well. We're going to pick up that Lions discussion coming up in just a little bit, but the Summer League is getting ready to go, and it is underway like in L.A., and then Salt Lake City, but not Vegas yet. But then they play at midnight Friday, or is it midnight Thursday night? I don't know, but I know that one guy in particular will be glued to the television. He is Jeff Iafrate. Juicy J is in the house here. And, you know, you have some breaking news, by the way, speaking of Summer League, that you just gifted upon us. Something about Cade Cunningham. What's popping?
Yeah, Cade's trainer, Ashton, just tweeted out 2 will not be playing in the Summer League, 2 meaning Cade Cunningham. So that's good news. I mean, we kind of all expected that. Didn't know how many reps he'd get. I knew he'd maybe start the first game, but you don't need him out there. I mean, guys like that don't need to go to Summer League.
So what does that tell you, though? Okay, so dig deeper into it. Is that Cade wants to be around, right? Whether it's in practice, shoot around, just being around the guy. So expect to see him on the bench, and that goes back to what I was talking about in the Boston series when you see him and Killian and Beef Stew in the crowd. And it's about culture. So it's developing that culture and developing around the new guys and talk. So if you're watching it, to see if you see him on the bench or communicating with Ivy. And even though it would be nice that we all wanted a little taste to see the two of them on the floor, I think that this is just, part of the process. But it's about these guys wanting to do something together and accomplish something together, and this is where it starts.
Well, Jeff, and look, too, I was not interested in him playing in the Summer League. I'll be open and honest about that. I was not interested in it.
Yeah. And Rod I talked to Rod Beard this morning with Brandon, and he made a great point. I didn't know this. For a player to have to be able to practice, to your point, Darren, about to have Cade Cunningham in the practice facility with them before Summer League, you got to have him on the list. So to your point, he may not be playing, but to be there with his teammates.
Well, that's what it tells you that it was exactly. And Dwayne Casey and Troy Weaver and all that stuff, all those guys is the culture that they're building sort of together. So even if he's like another coach but can be around and practice and stuff, that's stuff that you're building the foundation really small right now in the summertime. So I like it.
Yeah.
When you look at it, too, as Jeff Iafrate joins the show here, talking Detroit Pistons, Summer League getting ready to go. That's tomorrow night at midnight.
Yeah, it's confusing.
I don't do the whole midnight is a new day. A new day is when I wake up in the morning. That's when the new day is, all right? Whenever time I go to bed and wake up, that's Friday or that's Thursday. You know what I'm saying? If I'm still awake, it's not a new day. I know what the technicals are with the time schedule and all that kind of stuff, but, it's not that. But anyway, I digress from that.
It's a new day. Yes, it is.
So Thursday night at midnight.
Yes.
Thursday night at midnight, the Pistons kick off Summer League play. And certainly, when you look at it, all eyes are going to be on Jaden Ivey. There is no question about that. Jalen Duren, he's expected to join by then, right?
Yes.
The trade is still not technically finalized, but it is expected soon.
Yeah, he's in Vegas currently. So whether he's playing immediately or not, he will be playing in general through the Summer League.
There you have it. Okay, yeah. So absolutely. I'll turn the discussion a little bit though off the Summer League, and this was a great topic that Spencer Raxter came up with, and I'm curious to get your take on it because I feel as though my realistic expectations will be different than the fans' realistic expectations for Killian Hayes. And the reason that I say that, because if you look at it, he certainly came on as the season progressed. And remember, he doesn't have one full season of NBA basketball when you look at it from games played perspective. But the final 9 games of the season, he was a 12-5-4 guy with 2 steals as well. And so, with that being said, Jaden Ivey was a number 5 overall pick in the draft.
Yep.
Cade ain't going anywhere. You see my trend here with what's going on with Killian Hayes. What's realistic expectation for him?
I think there's certainly a spot on this team. I mean, anybody who's put up those numbers, especially just defensively, there's always going to be value. And you look at even the 2 teams in the finals right now. I'm not comparing Killian Hayes, but you see the need for that guard off the bench like Killian Hayes. You look at with Golden State, they had Jordan Poole. Now he's not the player Jordan Poole is, but with Boston, Derek White. there's always going to be value in having a guy like Killian Hayes on your second unit. So there's going to be value. Whether he's starting, I don't think so. But again, like Dwayne Casey says, it's not about who's starting, it's about who's finishing. And I think there's a big chance that you're going to see Killian Hayes finish a lot of these games.
And D-Mac, I'll defer to you on this one because I think you do draw some parallels with it, where Killian Hayes and his game, professional sports does this to you, right? Where you at times have to accept that identity. You are very self-aware. You talked about this. When the second you stepped in the league, you were very self-aware. Everybody wants to be the flashy guard that scores the 20 points and things like that. But this seems to be the path forward on this team for Killian Hayes, this role. It takes a lot of self-awareness, though, to be able to deal with that,
well,
right?
You gotta wanna embrace it. It doesn't. That's why it works. Is that you gotta want to embrace that role. And now, can we agree? What is Killian Hayes your sixth man? Is he right? If he's in conversation as the best sixth man, I think that what Dwayne Casey and what Troy Weaver go to Killian and say, this is the role that we see you on this team. And I don't know Killian Hayes, but seeing it seems that when, as a player, when you're appreciated and when the other talented guys know that they need you, that you're needed, you look at a guy like Chris Middleton that was here, and just a guy that's sort of appreciated in Milwaukee. We brought up Bobby Portis, who we're not going to get because he re-signed. But guys like that have to embrace a role that they play. And if Killian Hayes is in the conversation as sixth man of the year, where does that put your Pistons? So I think that it comes down to what's more important, the bag, right? Or the championships, or what do you want? And not all the guys who say in Killian Hayes' spot will accept that. And if you're uber talented, that's when you see guys getting moved around, right? Because they don't want to be part of winning. Now it goes to so to me, it's either about the bag or it's not about the bag. And it doesn't seem like to Killian it's more about the bag. So it's about winning and about what they have. I think the fact that the age group and the fact that they can do this all together really plays into it. So
what's a realistic expectation, man? Bottom line is
six man. And I'm not saying there's other things he's going to bring besides scoring. It's the versatility. It's defensively, being another playmaker off the bench. You really have multiple playmakers now. I mean, with Jaden Ivey now on the roster, Killian Hayes, and to your point, like obviously as a former professional athlete, you understand that you come into the league, you're drafted 7. He's supposed to be the franchise point guard at the time, and now it's a tough pill to swallow. Now you're a backup point guard essentially, but he'll still play starter minutes. I mean, you look at even Tyler Hero. There's still roles around the league, different roles. Tyler Hero's a pure scorer, but he always says, like, I could start if I wanted to. But like you said, your team needs you in that role, and I think Killian, for the Pistons, ultimately get where they are when they're winning. They're top 3 in the East, whatever it is. Killian's going to be a main guy off the bench, and I think his development is so key for the Pistons.
Those guys got to embrace it, Neal. Right?
I think that's what it comes down to.
They have to embrace it.
Because how do you get caught up? And it's easy to do. Like, look, we do this. I do this in the media. I'm sure there were times where you stepped out of yourself, and I bet a 23-year-old Darren McCarty that's in the NHL that says, man, I've bagged 60 goals in the OHL. Like, I can do what these guys are doing. I know it's not what the roll call. You know what I'm saying, though? But when you're young, you take a look at what you were and Killian Hayes, as a 7th overall pick in the NBA draft. Because I think fans might end up doing this at some point, too.
I'm a bad example.
Did you ever battle?
No, I'm a bad example because I was told when I was 16, here's the key for you to make it to the NHL. Right, you got to do one thing better 99.9%. For me, it's playing physical.
So you never had a moment where you said,
I just knew that if I worked on it, that I had skill and stuff like this. But that was never the number one priority. Look at being around. So if you're Killian Hayes and realizing that you brought this to the table, but to be a part of it, and then you're a key. Because here's the thing: if Killian Hayes is like Darren McCarty, nobody else can do what I do. Right. That's my mentality. Nobody else got my job. Nobody else can do my job for these Hall of Famers. That's my job, right? I'm a cog in the wheel. I'm a bling bling cog in that wheel, right? So if you have to embrace it, because I knew it was like being a goal scorer, because I knew they needed that. I knew Proby needed, a Robin to his Batman, but I was told when I was young, so the focus was always had to be physical. Don Cherry, right? when a crusher becomes a rusher, he becomes an usher. That was always the saying in the back of my mind, right? So along those lines, if Killian embraces it and embraces the sixth man, because you look, Jeff, you tell me, looking around to all the successful teams, it's that bench play by the first couple guys off the bench that can either...
That separates your team.
That can either... But they buffer it. Sometimes you see that guy come in and then he goes off, he gives energy, and he can, like a Tyler Hero.
Yeah.
That is a pure scorer, puts the ball in. Or guy comes off the bench and he's a shutdown guy because they need him to shut somebody down to give somebody some air. If you can give Cade some breathing room and you can rotate. Yeah, I mean, I just think we're talking about the Lions and what's going on and expectations, and we're talking about 10 wins. Well, this Pistons team, if they're building and everybody buys in, that's what it is. Everybody buys in. He can be a very valuable asset to this team because he can do so many things, right?
That's it right
Because
there.
he is that talented, because he is a 7th overall pick.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't get the first overall Cade Cunningham, he's probably your guy.
Yeah.
So it's actually, you look at the depth and the brilliance, and then you add Jaden Ivey, and then you got Sadiq Bey throwing bombs, and then you have Killian embrace off the bench. Man, that I'm starting to look at the Pistons like you're showing me to look at the Lions, and the Red Wings are the same way. So as we talk about them, they're all building. That recipe is permeated in the oven.
Yeah, to your point, the stars get you there, but the bench players, they finish the job for you. And that's always how it's been. So with Killian Hayes, there's certain lineups you're going to see this year where you may see Killian, Jaden Ivey, and Cade at the 3. Like, they can all be on the floor together, and that goes back to Darren's point, his versatility. He can do so many different things. His playmaking ability, his defensive ability, he's going to take so much pressure off Jaden Ivey and Cade Cunningham. Just what he can do defensively is just, that's important. And talk about embracing a role. It's really a mental thing with Killian. It's a confidence thing. And I think you saw it last year when they played Oklahoma City. Yes, they had a bunch of G Leaguers out there for OKC, but he had 26, 8 and 8 or something like that. So when you put him in those situations, him coming off the bench, facing second unit guys, that's the way to build confidence. He's going to be a key piece for the Pistons when they're winning, no doubt about it.
Yeah, and you got time for another segment, Juicy J?
Let's do it.
Yeah, absolutely. The people have spoken. Palomalu says, I hate the NBA, but I could listen to Jeff Iafrate all day. He's so knowledgeable and well-spoken. He's got great hair, too.
Oh, yeah.
He does have great hair, but he's got the Pistons hat on right now. Let me tell you about another thing that's great. Cintron is great. The summer of Cintron is here. Now Cintron's available at your local Kroger stores as well. Cintron, proud partners of Little Caesars Arena, the Pistons, the Red Wings, the Tigers, Detroit City FC. If you're at Keyword tonight, grab a Cintron. Why not? You're out there anyway. 2 cans for $4 at your local Kroger as well. If you haven't tried it yet, get 2 cans for $4. Give it a spin. You'll be back because it is the new energy drink for the active lifestyle. Drink it. Live it with Cintron.
New to the game or a season better? OddsTrader.com has everything you need to make the right bet ahead of kickoff. Begin your handicapping journey with OddsTrader. Improve your edge by finding the best price on every game from sportsbooks in your backyard. Take advantage of the numerous sign-up bonus offers to pad your bankroll. Dive into key game statistics, player performance, and even account for the projected game day weather. Best of all, you can use the OddsTrader bet tracker to keep a log of your action. Welcome to OddsTrader, and best of luck.
When you need apparel, there's only one place to go. Big Frog in Novi. With no setup fees, no artwork fees, no minimum, and a 24-hour turnaround, you can have your whole team outfitted in no time. Embroidery, direct-to-garment, vinyl, and screen printing, Big Frog has it all in all the styles you want. So whether it's a sports team, fundraiser, school event, or corporate needs, Big Frog is your one-stop destination. Visit bigfrog.com/Novi or call 844-4-BIG-FROG.
Neal Ruhl here for the Monroe Street Midway, and all summer long, the Monroe Street Midway is on and popping in downtown Detroit. Enjoy basketball, roller skating, mini golf, art, live music, food trucks, and more. A fun, safe event for everyone ages 1 to 100. Go to deckedoutdetroit.com. Again, as they would say in Canada, that's deckedoutdetroit.com for more information. Back at it here Getting deep into the second hour of the show. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neal Ruhl, D-Mac, Darren McCarty, Sam Flannel, Spencer Raxter, our Pistons guy, Juicy J, Jeff Iafrate, in the house here today. And look, I know people get on Brandon Katz in the chat sometimes and, with the stuff he says. But, hey, I welcome everybody. And he brings up a point. And this is a factual point that Brandon brings up. With Killian, with the summer league and into the season, 38% from the floor, 26% from three. The shooting numbers, they have to improve, man. They do. You better be a hell of a defender if those are the shooting numbers that you put up. And look, no one knows that more than Killian Hayes knows that. I'm certain of that. These are the formative years of your career. I think that is a storyline that you'll watch. And Spencer, you said you had a goal for Summer League. What do you want to see?
Yeah, for Summer League, I want to see Killian and Beef Stew each average at least 6 3-pointers per game. I want to see them go out there and get reps up. I want to see them hopefully knock them down. If they can shoot 30+% on 6 attempts, that's good in my book.
See, there you go. And that's the thing, Jay, because that's been the knock on Killian. When the ball leaves your hand, it has to go through the net in the NBA.
Yeah, and a lot of guys have that ability, but they just don't have the defensive and playmaking ability that Killian has. So it's kind of a give or take. Like, Killian, for him to learn how to be a much more effective knockdown shooter, especially this year, you're going to play a lot off ball. Sometimes on ball, sometimes off ball. There might be times where Jay Ivey's handling the ball, and you might have Killian in the corner for an open three-point shot. Can he knock it down? I would think so. Moving on to his career, he's not going to be that bad. You just said he finished just the season now. I think he's at 100 games. So I would agree. Needs to get better at his perimeter shooting and especially attacking the basket. And I've been watching a lot of videos of him in the offseason working, staying in America and working, getting open runs. I think that's going to be a big part of his development. But, yes, I agree with you. I mean, the shooting percentages, they speak for themselves. But what I'd argue is there's still value there. If he can just get them up, if you can shoot mid-40s from the field and somewhere in the 30s from three, and he brings that type of defensive versatility, and he brings the playmaking, there's definitely a spot for Killian Hayes.
Yeah, and that's the thing, too. I think we get caught up with drafts more than ever we have. Got caught up with drafts. But you look at the number 7 overall pick, and people expect you to be a star, and that's not necessarily the case in the NBA. If there was a guaranteed solid role player in an NBA draft, he would get drafted He would get drafted in the top 10.
Yeah,
if you had like a guarantee, no, I mean like like an 11-5, first second guy off the bench, he would get taken in right around 8, 9, 10 in the first round of the draft if you knew what you were getting.
Yeah.
In that scenario.
And one pick I would compare it to is Marcus Smart. Like Marcus Smart was taken 6th overall, and for a period of time in his career he didn't start, but now he's starting for the Celtics and he makes a significant impact on the defensive side of the ball. So I'm not saying he's going to be as good a defender as Marcus Smart, but what I'm saying is you draft Marcus Smart at 6, he's not your marquee franchise player, but there's value. So to your point,
what do you usually find? And it happens in sports or whatever, but it's sort of like don't give up too easily. And especially if I go back to will he embrace the role, right? This is what we expect out of you, not to be and a lot of times these guys, and I know in hockey too, that are drafted in the first round or have these high expectations of going, it's sort of that shot to the gut or guys can't handle it and bounce back. You got to remember, and I'm just going to go by former 6th overall pick in Marcus Smart and then Killian Hayes at 7. It's a maturity too. You got to remember these kids are young when they're drafted, so they don't know who they are. And to Marcus Smart's point, he's turned into a man more and realized, okay, this is who I am. This is what I have to be for this team.
Right.
And this is what kind of NBA pro I'm going to be. Excuse me. I think Killian Hayes, that's where he's in. He's in this, okay, I'm not this end-all, be-all point guy, Detroit Piston, but I am this piece to the puzzle moving forward with everybody else around him.
Yeah.
Isn't it cool, right? The fact that Killian Hayes is your 4th or 5th best player, which is where he should be instead of your best. That just tells you where your team's at.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, speaking of the best players, Cade Cunningham this year, is this the year, Jeff, that it pops off? And certainly,
Cunningham.
What's that?
Braid Cunningham.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, he's got the braids going. Braid Cunningham.
Jealous.
Excuse me.
Look at those arms.
I'm jealous.
Look at those arms. That's Gaines Cunningham.
Yeah.
Well, here's the point, right? What did we say last year? Wait till he matures. You got to remember the kid's only 21.
Right.
You know, like it matures into like the body. Now you're sort of seeing it, right? So is this the year? What are the expectations?
But Jeff, here's the way this works, though,
like
right?
when you said is this the year? What does that mean?
The pop off, the All-Star game. You know what I'm saying? Like where you don't have to. Where does he fit? Any of that stuff? Where does he fit amongst the rest of the league? The year that question is self-answered, because that year is coming. And look, I'll say it to you like this, Jeff. When we saw Giannis, this gangly teenager that came over from Greece, this was why I thought LeBron was going to be LeBron from the moment I saw him, because he had a linebacker body in high school. When the body changes in the NBA, that's when the game changes.
Yeah, and I think you could argue your rookie to sophomore year is the most important transition, because now Cade has a full season of NBA basketball, NBA travel.
Yeah.
He's dealt with the injuries at the beginning of the season, hurt his percentages a little bit. Now you get a full year of being healthy. Physically, you talked about it, what he looks like, Gaines Cunningham. And another thing, too, his game, man. He's just getting better and better. And he already walked into the league with such a complete game. Going into year 2, I got big expectations. I wouldn't say all-star just because, to my surprise, I guess it's all switched around, because you're supposed to be winning to make all-star teams, but I guess now you have to be winning to win Rookie of the Year. So it's all messed up. But bottom line, they got to win games for him to be in the all-star team. I wouldn't say, book him as an all-star, but I think he'll put up good numbers. I mean, I still have him at least 20 points per game. He gave you 18 last year on barely any free throws and bad percentages. Like, imagine if he ups his percentages, gets to the line more, he can get 22 a game, 21 a game, no doubt about it.
D-Mac, when you look at Cade Cunningham's body in that photo.
Oh yeah, man. He looks like you bring up the LeBron.
Yeah.
But even at that age, because LeBron he looked really young, and obviously he was younger, but like it's starting. It's starting. You know, like the man body, the maturity and stuff like this. And the best part about Cade Cunningham, it's his body's got to catch up to his brain.
That's it.
Do you know how grateful you should be for that? You know how lucky that is? When your body has to catch up to your brain, that means that you're already mature. I don't know what that means.
Sometimes it's the other way around.
It's always the other way around, bro. It's always the other way around.
Yeah.
Well, it goes back. It goes back to what I said when we played them in Oklahoma State. Whatever
100%.
Whatever the situation called for at every point in the game. And there was never any, and that was it. We were playing them tight. We had a guy, get on a heater and made a bunch of threes, made 8 or 10 threes in the game. And whatever the situation of the game called for, he just went and he executed it. There were no big fist pumps or anything like that. It was just business as usual. When you pair that kind of physique with that kind of intelligence, man, and I'll say this too, like even as a guy who was familiar with his work and was a big fan of his work. And I'm talking about Cade Cunningham, Braid Cunningham, or Gaines Cunningham, whatever, whatever alter ego you want to use. Brains Cunningham as well, as he's out there on the floor.
I like that.
No, but to look at that transformation of his body over a summer, that even gets me more excited for what his ceiling could be. Because how many cerebral players are there in the NBA that operate at that stratosphere cerebrally, that understand the game and understand, more importantly, are willing to do what the situation could. He could be such a weapon, man.
Yeah, and to D-Mac's point again, like his biggest knock and to knock against Cade, you're really nitpicking, was his physical, his build. I mean, he was skinnier, he had some muscle on him, but just getting to the rim, now adding muscle, he looks big, man. Like and that's going to be beneficial to him because, like you said, his game or his body has to catch up to his game, his mind, and how he reads the floor. So the injuries, the nagging injuries, the grind of an 82-game schedule, going into your second year, that's going to be beneficial to him because now he gets it. He gets how the NBA operates, the pace of the game. He already plays at such a perfect pace. I'm excited, and I really am. Now you traded Jeremy. That's 20 points gone. Someone's going to have to fill the void, and I think Cade, Jaden Ivey, and company will step up and fill that void, so I'm excited. 9 Drinks says Cade's eating a Detroit favorite every morning. He's smashing that cream of wheat. No, 9 Drinks. He is not doing that. Let's be real. Drago says Jalen Duren body development is NBA ready at 18 as well. That is crazy. So, Juicy Day, appreciate you sliding through as always. Jeff Iafrate, everybody, one of our
Get that nap in so you can watch that midnight game tomorrow.
I got you.
I know you do. Appreciate you, brother. We'll talk again soon. Man, Cade Cunningham. That body though, man. He's ready to rock.
No, he is ready to rock, and I think and I think that's the whole thing, is that what Jeff said is that he's gone through it. So he's got the eye. Oh, okay, because he's sitting there going, okay, oh, I heard about this, didn't know this. Oh, the travel here. Oh, late nights, this. Whatever it is, Cade Cunningham. Might as well call him Braid Cunningham. Guardian alarm might be a good one, too, because he's going to protect that rim. Excuse me.
Guardian Cunningham, whatever you want to do.
Whatever you want. Anyways, Guardian Alarm, you know them, you love them. They keep you safe, give you peace of mind. Just like Cade Cunningham will do, whether you're home or on the road. Just like Cade Cunningham. 24 hours a day, local monitoring right here, so that when it gets hot out, the pets don't get too hot. You can turn the AC and the lights and everything on. So if you want to be part of the Guardian Alarm family, I need you to give them a call. That's right, 91 straight days of flannel sand protection. Call them 1-800.
Stay out.
That's 1-800.
Stay out.
One more time, 1-800.
Stay out. Get out of my house.
Stay out, Killian haters.
That's it. Stay out, stay out, stay out. Guardian Alarm, whatever you need, your local security experts. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Hello? Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Krogers, and if you want to know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
Neal Ruhl here for Chili Peppers Tanning, where you can join the Pepper Club at Chili Peppers Tanning. You'll get all the best deals, plus they'll beat all competitors' prices by at least $5. Chili Peppers has the hottest bulbs, the hottest deals, and the darkest tans. 26 locations and more on the way. Go to chilipepperstanning.com. Find out which one works best for you. It's Chili Peppers Tanning. Coming down the stretch here, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neal Ruhl, D-Mac, Darren McCarty, Spencer Raxter, Sam Flannel. Update out of Wimbledon, by the way. Taylor Fritz up 2-1 on Rafael Nadal.
Is that the American?
He is the American.
Let's
in
go.
the building.
USA.
In the Wimbledon
USA.
in the Wimbledon quarterfinals.
Going after Nadal.
American tennis, they need somebody,
They
man.
do. Who has been Roddick or whatever his name was?
Yeah, Andy Roddick was like the last one, dude. It's crazy to me.
That's a long time ago.
I did pick this up in the YouTube chat thread, and from a distance, I've kind of been keeping my eye on it. And you guys know me. I'm not a huge recruiting guy for college football. Dave Swaniger says Oregon's offering Dante Moore $4 million in name, image, and likeness deals, plus jobs at Nike to multiple family members. Unless Michigan changes their name, image, and likeness policies quickly, they will continue losing recruits. And so just during the break, I did a couple clicks and looked around. And I guess Oregon is kind of out of the mix for a lot of the bigger name quarter. Like, this is the one.
Yeah.
This is the one that they have to have. Now, certainly, he's out of Martin Luther King High School in Detroit.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, a big time. He would be the biggest quarterback recruit that Oregon's ever pulled if he's able to go to Oregon. Obviously, a 5-star recruit. Michigan in the mix, LSU in the mix, Notre Dame, Penn State as well. But
can't see you going anywhere else. I mean, if you get offered $4 million in jobs for your families,
and Oregon has to have them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it's Oregon. I mean, they pump out some good quarterbacks every now and then, as we've seen.
It's just something worth monitoring, D-Mac, because
everything's worth monitoring right now, especially with you see the way that Did you ever think, and we hadn't talked about this, but with all the talk about the UCLA, USC, the Big Ten revamping, all this other stuff, is this the alternative to expanding the playoff? Right, instead of expanding, figuring out a way, because this is almost like the money grab in itself. Like, this is the smarter, like, sitting back and looking at it, everybody was always saying, well, let's expand it to 6 teams or 8 teams, or let's make the playoff system. Isn't this the way to do it the right way with the money, with the teams that want to do it? Because that social media, that TV revenue and all that stuff is out there. To me, it just seems like even though you're going to have West Coast teams and did Big Ten, but it seems right. To me, the conversation seems right because they weren't going to move on the playoffs. It would have deterred it. We've talked about it all along. If you do that tournament, it's still only like a few teams at the front. I like the conversation of what they're happening, but going back to what you're talking about, quarterbacks and about Oregon and NIL and stuff like this, everything's up for grabs. Like, right. That's really what has been showing me in the past 6 months is that, I don't know, the playing field is just getting barer and barer and clearer for everybody to, I guess, play in. So these conversations where in the past you'd be like, that's not happening. There's no way. It's reality.
No, yeah, and everything is out there. And I don't know. I think what you're going to end up seeing with all this is it's going to be a club. And that club will create their own rules. That club will dictate the circumstances. And that club will say whether or not you have a shot. Like that's what it's going to be.
If you're in or you're out. But the whole thing is the way that they're trying. There's that conversation because now the schools, right, are doing what the NCAA would never make a decision or do, right? They just stand there and just don't do anything. So now it seems like the Big Ten and, the different schools are getting involved. And you got the right schools getting involved, all the big ones. So, I don't know. I think it's more of a chance that when you're talking about that and a kid going to Oregon and stuff like that, you have a better chance of seeing him play in the Big Ten in a few years.
Yeah, it's something for me to see how that all shakes out because I've always said that and we've always said it. And I've been saying this for a long time since you and I worked in a past radio life together. That's always been my thing about Michigan is the mentality.
Yep.
The mentality of what they think that they can or can't do and still have success. You got to make a decision if you want to go to the level. You got to make a decision.
But isn't it going to force Michigan to go to that next level?
But if they
you
haven't
put
yet,
in more talent?
when are they?
Because they haven't had to, Neal. Because in the Big Ten, right? They whatever it is against Michigan State, it's always them and Ohio State, right? In the mind or whatever, it's the two. You bring in other talented programs that can recruit, that can do it, it almost forces your hand. Or you're going to get left with your pants down. That's all it is. If this happens and Michigan doesn't do the Michigan change the way they operate, they'll be left behind, and then they're going to get pants.
They've got a half a national title since the 40s, D-Mac.
I understand that. So
haven't they already been left behind? Look at the rise of everybody.
There's no incentive being in the Big Ten still, because at the end of the day, it's always like, okay, well, and obviously the Michigan State game, they lose to them and then they pretend it doesn't happen. So it's always about the Ohio State. So they always keep themselves up. What I'm saying is their opinion of themselves as being the top 2 teams in the Big Ten for the past 80 years will change when other teams, if this comes with the ability that can dethrone them if they don't get on board with what the other teams like Oregon, USC, and UCLA are doing. Right? You bring them into the pot, It's the talent around. It's a Killian Hayes thing. When they're automatically the seventh best guy, right? Exactly. Instead of the best guy.
But we saw that. We saw them try that once. Remember?
What do you mean?
When they went outside the family and they tried to go the Rich Rodriguez way. Remember that?
Yeah,
that was what they were going to do.
Into the Big Ten. That's bringing it. Like I'm saying, when you have other teams and it's not the Rutgers and the Northwesterns and the Iowa and all this.
Hey, don't speak ill of Rutgers. They're the most valuable member of the Big Ten over the course of the last 20 years, and I explained that.
Not
as
for
to why.
anything to do with everything to do with academics and nothing to do with athletics.
No, it didn't have anything to do with academics either.
No, what then? Just because of where they're
New York media market.
So
68 cents per Big Ten channel subscriber.
So that's what I'm saying. So everybody else figures it out. So Michigan, at the end of the day, whatever way, the Michigan way to do it, they're going to have to change it from the Michigan way and do it more like the rest of the country, because the rest of the country seems like it's going to get on board. It's going to be the SEC and the Big Ten. That's it.
You want a good heel Neal take? You want a good one?
Let's hear it.
Rutgers in the last 15 years has been more valuable to the Big Ten than Michigan.
Oh!
How many? Well, if you're saying 60-some cents per
subscriber for the Big Ten network,
and then the population, and you go because you're probably just spitting facts.
But that showed what could happen. That showed what the possibilities were, and that led you to USC and UCLA being here now because they're rerunning the playbook. The Big Ten's rerunning the playbook.
Could it be
right
anything to do with the $600 million or $1 billion or whatever that they're going to hand out for the social? Where there's $80 million a team and stuff like that. Where they're going, hey, can we get in on that? Yeah, sure. Just it's crazy. So to the fact that it doesn't matter if it's Michigan, if it's Michigan State, if it's any of these teams. What I'm saying with this NIL, and you go back to the quarterbacks. Right,
AC says, oh boy, they're going to come after you now. You can't defeat that argument.
How do you feel about that, Sam Flannel? Is Rutgers more valuable than Michigan?
I mean,
dollars and cents wise,
yes, but I don't think that's a detriment towards Michigan. That's more pro Rutgers and what being in the New York market brings to the Big Ten and how it helped facilitate USC and UCLA. I don't think it's a gotcha Michigan. I think it's flowers for Rutgers.
That's fair.
Yeah, and that's the point of it. But that furthers my point, D-Mac, when you say when they'll have to change when they feel they have to. The game's completely changed now. They haven't changed the way they go about their business. Sam, when I say that,
the game has, but the fact that the division hasn't. Tell me why. What has happened in the Big Ten that has made Michigan alter the way that they do business over the past years, right? It hasn't altered. You brought Rutgers in. They brought them more money. Do you know what I'm saying? Like the only way that you make them look in the mirror to do things is when you have teams that come in around them like a USC, a UCLA that are doing it. And then next thing you know, Michigan's 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th because they can't do it. Now what's the fan base going to do? Right? There'll be a lynching. Would there not be a lynching? Like what, Sam, you're the Michigan guy. Like they have to get involved somehow because if all the other teams are coming into their playground, right, there's only so much play structures and play toys to play with.
They should, but my fear is that they still will be stubborn because I think a lot of higher-ups at Michigan, a lot of Michigan alums, they're perfectly okay with winning 8-9 games, losing to Ohio State, making the Citrus Bowl, and just being the brand of Michigan.
Well, how do you feel about that?
I hate it. I want national championships. I want a Big Ten title like last year, and I also want to beat Michigan State, which a lot of Michigan fans don't care about, even though Michigan State is 10-4 against them in their last 14 meetings. And that burns my soul, and I think a lot of Michigan fans, even some at this network, just don't give a damn about Michigan State. They still disrespect them and see them as like beneath them when the numbers show that they are not. And now with Mel Tucker looking like he's getting way deeper into NIL in Michigan State than Michigan, we might be looking at M for mediocre, and that scares the hell out of me.
M for mediocre. That's a Neal take too.
Well, you know what? With new information, I get to change my opinion, but I think you're dead. That might be the best take I've ever heard out of your mouth.
Thank you, D-Mac.
Man,
M will be for mediocre.
That just kind of popped in my head as like a spinoff of all the recruiting thing because it's true.
It's true.
And they're because look, the Big Ten Network was pulling 11 cents per subscriber in Los Angeles before they added UCLA and USC.
Yeah.
Now that number's going to go up to around 75 cents. All the millions of cable subscribers that there are out there. And they're going to get it from you one way or the other.
For sure. And like to Sam's point, we were beating Michigan with the teams we have now, with the D'Antonio castoffs and a bunch of transfer portal guys. Wait until Mel Tucker has a full team of his own guys. Wait until we got 11 4-stars on both sides of the ball.
Here's the one thing, right? Looking from outside in is like you even said, look at Michigan State. But there's teams that are getting involved in a bigger way than other teams. And I just have a feeling, just like anything else.
Shout out Matt HBO.
And the thing is that if you do not get down with what is going down, you're going to get left behind. And I don't care. I know Michigan is Michigan, and they're that big. But this could be a bigger chink in the armor. You know what I'm saying? Because this is something you don't get ahead. Because here's the thing. Mel Tucker establishes it. He's going to, when people look into Michigan now, what are they going to do? And I don't care what it is. They're going to be looking to East Lansing before they look to Ann Arbor. And that has not happened, but that is reality.
Chris says, I'd be interested to see how much money Michigan brings in with the amount of Fox prime slot games they have. MSU, PSU, Wisconsin, OSU, etc. Chris, they bring in less than Rutgers does, and they'll bring in less than UCLA and USC does in terms of Big Ten Network. That's what this is all about, guys. That's all this is all about.
If you don't think that the West Coast teams smelled money over here going, hey, what do you got? What? Whoa. We're only getting this. We're only getting that. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's a power play and a money grab.
Hey, that's the way that it works. Just like, hey, you want to go out somewhere, you want to go to a Detroit institution to go eat, Big Boy is the way that plays. And look, it's all about the ciabatta bread. Right now at Big Boy, the sunrise ham and cheddar, the chicken cordon bleu, the chicken club, all on ciabatta bread. Look me in the eye and tell me ciabatta bread doesn't make any sandwich better.
Facts.
You can't. You won't, because it does. And I wouldn't allow you to lie to yourself like that anyway, even if you did try saying that. Get to Big Boy now. They're all about the ciabattas. All sandwiches served with fries and a Pepsi as well. I'm doing it for you guys. It's Big Boy, a Detroit institution. Fellas, let's be honest. We like things to be easy. We like simple stuff, like sports 7 days a week. We like things uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play. And before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Hi, I'm John from Better Rate Mortgage, and to me, family is more than blood. That's why I have the biggest family in Metro Detroit. If you're looking to buy a house or refinance and need a loan, come get treated better than family by me and our entire team here at Better Rate Mortgage. We pride ourselves on giving you better advice, better service, and a better loan experience. That's why we are Better Rate. If you're looking for a new mortgage, come get treated like family. Actually, better with Better Rate Mortgage. Visit us at mybetterrate.com or call at 248-480-4467 today.
Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, as we come down the stretch. Just a little impromptu discussion about, the whole Michigan recruiting thing with Dante Moore at Martin Luther King High School here in Detroit, a 5-star quarterback that seems like he might be leaning towards Oregon because of $4 million in nil deals and jobs for the family at Nike and, all that kind of stuff that would sway me as well. Neal Ruhl, Darren McCarty here with you, Sam Flannel, Spencer Raxter as well. But that just kind of spun off, and the thought popped in my head that Rutgers is the most valuable Big Ten member in the last 15 years. Dollar for dollar they are.
Facts is facts.
Yeah, I mean, that's... And everyone still laughs at it. They do. And I'll take it a step further. I bet... This is my wild long shot here. I bet, and I know that they're moving on now, but this is college free agency. You will see some form of Texas in the Big Ten now, and I'm looking at Houston, Pop that Big Ten network in that huge Houston Metroplex. Every cable subscriber is now paying 70 cents for it. It's very easy to figure this stuff out. Chuck Brewer says Neal understands this better than anybody else at Woodward. Well, Chuck, it's addition. Like, it's simple math. Like, I have all this money, and I'm getting it from every single cable subscriber in 11 cities. Well, why don't I add a 12th city? Why don't I have a 13th city? Oh, the second biggest city's up for grabs? Why don't I add 2 teams in the second biggest city? Houston's a top 5 city. How do I get involved there? Like, you see how this is working, man.
Yeah, and then the more, here's how it works. The more that it's, oh, are you in? Oh, yeah, and I got a buddy. Hey, they want to come in. Oh, what about them up there in Oregon? Oh, they want to come in. These are the conversations, because what are they doing, Neal? Follow the money. They're building their bag. Bigger bag, because the rules have allowed that to do that.
And you're seeing this too. Like, the Big 12 just hired somebody from Rock Nation to be the commissioner of the Big 12.
That's fire.
But that's what this is. This is a corporation. Mm-hmm. This is a big dollar corporation that needs to be run by somebody that understands revenue generation.
That's almost too, is that waiting to hear, as because you got not this year, next year, but in 2024 is when we're talking about it. But the legitimacy of it is when they develop and put somebody in charge. When there is a governing body, and where you and I can look and say, hey, like, what do we say? An NCAA needs a commissioner. This is something with the money that's being dealt with, the fact that you're here in the Rock Nation being hired here and there. Schools are looking outside the box. Right, how to bring this in, because the money's out there, and all the money is in the cable, in the social media, and all this sort of revenue.
TV deals. And I laugh, and I've said this before, and I laugh at this. I laugh at universities that chase ticket sales. Go across the board and look at the resources that university put in towards ticket sales. It's laughable. You can get one television deal, one advertising deal, and wipe that all clean. But these universities, man, they're so stuck in the way that they've done things for so long it's what they do. And because that's why you end up with guys from Rock Nation running the Big 12.
Institutionalized.
Yeah.
Right? Institutionalized to what it is. You mentioned since 1940. Sometimes people act that they haven't moved forward in time. And the ones that get with it, or get with the times, or get with technology, get on, social media to the different TV deals, the money's definitely out there. And it wants to be. So it's figuring out, because you got to remember, too, it's still the wild, wild west, right? Because it really is. It's still sort of gray out there of what you can do and what you can't do. But the reality is that kids in your own backyard in Michigan could be heading anywhere in this country because the opportunity is there.
Everything has changed. The regionalization of everything. And that's why you're seeing Notre Dame being such a big player in this right now.
Well, isn't this aren't we waiting to see if they decide something, if the shoe drops with them?
Yeah,
because
to some
you're
degree.
talking about the revenue deal they have with NBC and what they bring to the table too. They're not coming in with their plastic bag going, "Hey guys, we need help." It's like so it would be very interesting, because if Notre Dame made a decision and said we're going to go here or there, to me, that's sort of.
But here's the deal with Notre Dame. And Notre Dame suffers the same ailment that Michigan does to some degree. But Notre Dame's better positioned to be able to do it because they have their own deal with NBC and they get to pick and choose what they want to do. Notre Dame is more in love with control than they are with money.
Right.
And that's like the age-old thing, right? That's what we keep coming back to. That's as a nation, that's the way we are as a nation. The people that are in control love the fact that they're in control more than they love money. Now, money's a byproduct of control, but they love being in control more.
Right.
Like, if you had to give one up, money or control,
I'm all about power. I'm all about the power than the bag. Deep down, people, everybody would say control. At the end of the day, the power to dictate where you do, what you do, when you do it, is worth more than any money of somebody telling you what you have to do.
Right, absolutely. Unless you're getting that bad, you know what I'm saying?
There's degrees what I'm saying is that you have to, because there's degrees, Neal, but that just means that your number, right? Because I don't care if it's millions of dollars, you still have to, you're doing something for somebody else. So having the power and having to dictate like Notre Dame does and say, nah,
They love that.
We're gonna. That's
love
that to them is the bag.
Right.
Right. It goes hand in hand.
Absolutely. And Notre Dame is like Paulie in Goodfellas. Notre Dame doesn't have to move for anyone. You know what I'm saying?
But that's why it's interesting if they do.
Right.
Right? Because if they made a move somewhere or said that they were going to...
My guess would be when they do, it will be control-based. It will be, we're going to do this separate for Notre Dame and give Notre Dame more than we give everybody. For real. Like, I'm telling you guys,
Listen,
man.
Can I just say facts? The Vatican is its own country. Notre Dame operates
its own
like
country.
its own country.
Absolutely. That's
They
exactly
operate
what
like
they
the
are.
Vatican and they're Catholic, so why wouldn't it make sense that that's what they do? So it's going to benefit that. We can agree that they've always positioned that if they do make a move, they will have control. It's sort of like you telling Fish before the show that in your next contract at between 10.50 and 10.53, you're going to put it in there that he's going to
He's got to bring me ice water.
Got to bring you ice water, and if he doesn't, 2%.
I get a 2% salary
Right?
kicker.
So that's sort of what Notre Dame. You look, but here's the thing: on the opposite side of that, Neal, there's teams and there's conferences that are going to want to have that conversation and give them the power because of what they bring.
Absolutely, and
right?
you just got to figure out that balance.
Well, that's why I got 2 years.
Chuck says, Neal, the morning show's trying to argue that the Big Ten should drop Rutgers and Maryland. No, Adam's smarter than that, right? Guys, Adam's smart. Adam gets it. Adam understands how things work.
Oh, well, I haven't heard it. But
I haven't either, Chuck.
They would know. Chuck would know before.
Yeah.
Chuck's in there.
No, Adam's not doing that, man. He's smarter than that. I know he's smarter than that. Mark Walton says, no one's paying attention to Rutgers. No one's watching the game for money. We are watching the game for wins. They're putting the games on TV for you to watch because of money, Mark.
In New York. Yeah. They have Big Ten football playing in TVs in New York.
Yeah. So. Millions of them.
Yeah.
At 67 cents per television,
Mm-hmm.
even if it's not on TV.
Yeah.
See, Mark, we got to get past this.
Yeah.
Mark, they're not watching for it. They're not watching it.
But it's there.
But they're paying for it. That's all you care about. That's always my thing. Like
It's like gas tax.
Yeah, it's like I joke with, it's like the taxes you pay for schools, even if you don't have kids in school. You're still paying it.
Yep.
I laugh about that when, like tonight, when Detroit City's on, which we're pulling very, very good television ratings, by the way. Very, very good television ratings. But when I tell people that, I'm like, hey, you don't even have to turn it on. If Nielsen sends you something in the mail, just say you watch Detroit City FC.
Yeah.
That's it. I don't care if you watch it or not. Just make sure you write on that report that you watch Detroit City FC.
It, yeah. That's all
that's all that matters in this, guys. It's all that matters. Mark, nobody's watching Rutgers football. Not everybody in New York is a college sports fan, but guess what? They're paying 67 cents. Every cable bill, whatever platform they're using, even if you're streaming it, you're paying $19.90. You're paying for it. And I know there's the 10% of you out there, I stream it illegally and stuff like that. They've got you figured in already, guys. They do. It's a monstrous machine.
Variable change.
It's considered leakage.
Yeah.
That's all they consider it. Speaking of numbers, mybookie.com, they got a good number for you. It's the best place to place your bets. If you use a promo code Woodward, they'll match part of your first deposit up to 50% in free bets. How's that for numbers if we're talking about numbers? You can win big at mybookie.com. Bet on anything, anytime, anywhere. With MyBookie, have a gambling problem, call the Michigan Gambling Hotline, 1-800-270-7117.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991. Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
It took exploring 50 different formulas and hosting countless taste tests, but we believe Gypsy Vodka is the smoothest vodka on the market. Don't believe us? Ask the owners.
We're Mike and Adam Kazanowski with High Five Spirits Distillery. We're in close to about 1,200 locations throughout Michigan. We wanted to create a brand that was geared more towards freedom, love, adventure, and at the end of the day, we really wanted to tell a story that inspired other people to take risks, follow their dreams, whatever that might be.
Make sure you're listening to Woodward Sports all day long. Start your morning with the Morning Woodward Show. Spend middays with Big D Energy. Watch and listen your drive home with the Bottom Line. And don't forget about Woodward Bets Daily. All live, all right here on the Woodward Sports Network.
Ribbit, D-Mac here for Big Frog. Get a free Woodward Sports t-shirt. That's right. A free Woodward Sports t-shirt all month long at Big Frog in Novi. Just stop in, tell them we sent you, and they will print you one on the spot. So go to Big Frog Novi today and get your free t-shirt, or visit them online at bigfrog.com/Novi. Tell them Big D Energy sent you.
Ran late that segment. My apologies, guys. I get worked up when just trying to help people see the light and try to anticipate what's going to happen next, D-Mac. That's all we're doing. We can do some Ask D-Mac, though. If you got a question you want to fire away on there, go ahead. It could be a shortened version of Ask D-Mac, but that's always a go-to. Chuck Brewer says Georgia Tech should be a target with the Atlanta market. See, Chuck? Chuck's got it figured out.
Yeah.
Don't be surprised.
You just said Texas before the break. Houston, TCU.
Houston, TCU, whatever's left, because you ain't getting Texas. And you ain't getting Texas A&M. And so what's that leave you?
Houston,
well,
TCU.
it'll be interesting. Yeah. It'll be interesting how all this, works. I just think it goes back to the question that you asked about the quarterback from the city, signing Oregon with all these opportunities. Kids are going to realize it doesn't matter where it is to go. There's opportunities out there, even more so. So I just see this ending bad for the teams that do not get with the program, right, and figure out how to add it in, because you just said that. Because all the big teams, the teams that are active, right, we can say USC, right, one of the most active teams, new coaches, right, this, that, everything else, is they're figuring out a way how to get in on this, and you're going to get left behind.
Rich Diana, Trump University to join the Big Ten. You'll get all of them. You'll get the University of Phoenix.
Yeah.
All of them. All the alt schools.
Northwestern Tech.
Yeah.
What about Baylor, though?
Yeah. I mean, I wonder about. Now, they have, the infrastructure to be competitive.
Yeah.
They've shown that.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, I mean, you could see that as some sort of package or something that goes like that. Dave Swaniger says Greg Schiano will make Rutgers into a good team. Not great, but good. He got assistances from the region, said he wasn't going to leave Ohio State. Good recruiter, especially in New Jersey, where there's talent. And I said that, too. Greg Schiano will have them in bowls all the time.
Oh, yeah. No, he gets it done. And, for that program and stuff like that. But I just think that when it comes to Rutgers, it's location.
People, Sam Flannel, people want to know real quick, how does this impact Michigan baseball? That's the overriding question for all these thousands of Michigan baseball fans that come out to games in the dozens.
God, having to travel to the West Coast, that just leaves us at such a disadvantage. I don't even know if we can count this season. No, I'm kidding. Ask me when the tournament starts.
Francis Garcia. Well, yeah, that's when you guys start, right? When the regionals pop in. Francis Garcia, question for D-Mac. Best kept secret resort up north for golf. How about overall? What's your go-to spot up north for golf?
There's a lot.
Crystal Downs is unattainable for most. So.
Yeah, they can't get there. I mean, Gaylord, Gaylord, you can't go wrong.
The golf mecca.
What's that?
Treetops.
Listen, if you haven't played Arcadia Bluffs, definitely worth the trip.
Yeah.
Up there, which is Crystal Downs, just a little bit on the less, but for everybody that can play. So Arcadia is a must play up north, for sure, if you haven't played one.
Neal Ruhl, Second Furnace. How do you get in the right mindset to do a death match?
You have to be born not being right to begin with, where you have to look where it's sort of like
it starts in the womb.
It does. The fireman who sees fire and runs to it is the same as, it's just commitment. And to me, why is it committed? Because it's a story, the whole storyline or whatever, and the fact that we're all in it together, that's the sick, savage part of it. But I love it. Man Guy Friend Bro says
I love that name. The Dream and the Nightmare. Devin says The Dream in West Branch. I'm kind of upset.
Have you played?
Yes. And D-Mac, I'm upset that everybody's talking about this place now. It It is one of my favorites.
There's 18 there, right?
They got the Dream and the Nightmare, and then
one
like
off 75.
Yeah, the Dream super hard, and the Nightmare's the easier one, which is they kind of reversed them like that.
Like Iceland and Greenland.
Yeah. No liquor license there. So
can you bring in stuff?
And they'll provide you with ice.
That's fire.
So what's wrong with that?
Nothing.
That makes it better.
Yeah, 100%. You're in control.
Yeah.
You're in control of everything.
Dude, I've never played the Nightmare and the Dream. I would almost want to go
100%. We got to go do that.
36er.
Yeah, we got to do that, no doubt.
Done. We'll put it on the schedule put it out there. Put it out there in the universe. We're going to have it done.
Last one, real quick, Mac. Couple seconds. AC, D-Mac, what's your thoughts on Ronaldo's potential transfer to Chelsea?
You know what? That could be big news. It all depends on, at the end of the day, he doesn't need the money and he still wants to play. So arguably still one of the best in the world.
He just wants to play in Champions League.
Just wants to play Champions League.
That's it, my
show. I guess try to be the next billion-dollar athlete.
Yeah. D-Mac, Darren McCarty, Sam Flannel, Spencer Raxter. My name is Neal Ruhl. Thanks for tapping in to Big D Energy on the Woodward Sports Network. Well, see you later.